Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and we are operating under an emergency scenario this morning. I just put bacon in the oven, but I've got an added problem. The 11-year-old is out of the house, but the 18-year-old, who is a protein eating machine, he is like AI programmed to search the refrigerator and eat anything in sight, especially if it has protein, because he's a meathead. He could get up at any moment and smell my bacon. The bacon's cooking. We've got to get this show done. We're gonna make sure we get a lot of good content out there. I may have to just get up and check the bacon. I even left the door open so that usually once you smell the bacon, it's almost ready. So let's get going. Just wanted to make sure you are aware of the situation. Folks, 2 days ago, I think I showed you a video of the guy, the Michael Saylor guy, just saying all this creepy stuff, comparing Bitcoin, like making it sound like Bitcoin was created by God, all this weird stuff. Just doesn't. I mean, this guy gives me the creeps, and I'm not even saying anything bad about Bitcoin. I'm just saying it's a red flag. This guy's a red flag to me. He's also, as a reminder, he was the biggest loser in the .com bubble. Almost as if somebody put him up to this, like they're playing a joke on us or something. But then we go and get this.
The people of D.C. are $40 million richer. I bet you want to know how. So this money comes from a man who claimed he didn't live in D.C., but he had a huge penthouse in Georgetown. I mean, we're talking about a business billionaire, Michael Saylor, who founded the tech company MicroStrategy. The Attorney General for D.C. sued Saylor for not paying his local income taxes. Now, this is not just 1 or 2 years. We're talking 15 years. Saylor claimed he lived in Virginia and Florida, but not D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwab says Saylor's company even fudged his W-2 forms. But Saylor has now agreed to settle the suit by paying what he owes, plus interest and penalties, and that adds up to $40 million buck.
So anyway, my question is that a canary in the coal mine about this guy? Speaking of shady, here's Mike Novogratz.
With the simple things, let's start with Bitcoin in the crypto world, because we're flirting with that $70,000 level. And you sit here, we have been around this space for a while now. Is there more upside risk or downside risk as you see it now in the crypto world?
Listen, I think we're getting skewed to the upside. I mean, just the fact that we're here at a crypto show and Bloomberg shows how long we've come since 2015, 16, 17. But we kind of got to the finish line. And when I say that, DC has finally agreed in principle that crypto legislation has to happen, that it should be bipartisan. We still have a couple holdouts, but the last few weeks have been unbelievably positive in pushing the Democrats forward, seeing this. They don't want it to be a political issue. And so that which was a headwind is becoming a tailwind. It's not a full tailwind yet. We have governments that can't stop spending money, and so that just is so powerful for the Bitcoin narrative. And then all of a sudden you hear, wait a minute, the state of Wisconsin's pension fund bought $140 million of Bitcoin. And so as we get more pension funds in, more institutions in, there's not a lot of sellers.
So the question we know you hate then, where do we end the year?
Listen, if we take out the 73,000 in the next week or so, we're going to end the year at 100,000, somewhere around there, or even higher. Markets.
Okay, that's all we wanted to hear except for this. How high is Luna going this year? I mean, I love that. Looks like Gary Gensler in just about 20 minutes, while I'm eating my bacon probably, is going to be on CNBC with Jim Cramer and Carlos Quintanilla, who had me blocked. I think I am still blocked. Look, he didn't like it when I was talking about ETHgate either. Go figure. So Gary Gensler will be on at 9:10 a.m. I'm sure that you will be pissed off after you watch that. Look at this. I was telling somebody yesterday, this is the first time in my life I've even heard of the SEC shutting down an office. Shutting down its Salt Lake City regional office due to significant attrition the regulator announced, and then met a lawman who is an attorney, securities attorney. He says they just announced it. He says one of the reasons given is the office recently has experienced significant attrition. The Salt Lake City office was responsible for the debt box debacle. Go figure. Now check this out from Eleanor Terrett. No, look what has found its way into a House Appropriations budget bill that is set to be marked up at a hearing tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. One of the provisions or policy riders of the bill prohibits the SEC from using appropriated funds to implement SAB 121 as well as its controversial climate disclosure rule. It also provides the SEC with just $2 billion in overall funding in fiscal year 2025 compared to $2.59 billion requested by Gary Gensler. My question is, why not provide them with $0 until Gary Gensler does the right thing? There's an idea. But see, our Congress people, they don't have enough kahunas to do stuff like that because most of them are compromised. That's the problem. Brad Garlinghouse was on with Liz Clayman on Fox Business, and this is one of the most, I was able to clip these things up to show you what I thought was interesting. And here's the first one from XRP Drops right here.
XRP ETF, when?
I think we're going to see it, I think it'll probably be 2025.
Next year?
Yeah,
all right.
Not too far away.
Good to see you. Let's see if that happens.
All right. So,
and if it comes to pass.
He keeps saying the XRP ETF is inevitable. Then this is another clip. In this clip, he says before the SEC got involved, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset. So I thought it was a good time to remind the corrupt SEC that XRP Unleashed is coming in 2024.
I think people also forget that it wasn't that long ago, before the SEC got involved, that XRP was the second most valuable digital asset. That was before the SEC kind of anointed ETH. Then they couldn't answer the question, is ETH a security or not? And now they've approved the ETF. They contradict each other. It's very contradict themselves. It's very difficult to follow.
You'll dig this as something that we made in the office on ETHgate. Gave a speech and they cashed it. And everybody recognizes that gentleman right there, Bill Hinman.
This never gets old.
Bill Hinman came to the stand in 2018 and gave his famous speech where he declared that Ethereum wasn't a security. The SEC tried to allege that all sales of XRP were an unregistered securities offering.
December 21st, Brad Garlinghouse came out and basically informed the world that they were soon going to be sued by the SEC.
SEC is preparing to sue that crypto startup for selling unlicensed securities.
Can you explain your view of whether Ethereum is a security or not, but then why you believe that Ripple is a security?
We don't get involved in these types of public forums talking about any one project.
We believe current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions.
The SEC is trying to capture the digital asset space. They went after Ripple and specifically XRPs because it was the biggest threat to the incumbent banking and financial system.
You know, the United States government's probably the biggest bully in the world. I read the complaint and it was terrible news. People are going to lose money and people had their life savings in XRP. All right, welcome to Regulatory Capture 101, also known as ETHgate.
All right, so we got that. Then this is something that's got me confused.
What is it?
And I want to, maybe Brad Garlinghouse will answer this today. Let me see something here. Let's see. Let me, right here. Okay, so what I'm confused about is Brad Garlinghouse keeps saying the XRP ETF is inevitable, but he keeps saying that the Ripple can't IPO in the United States because Gary Gensler has to prove an S1. And so my question is, Gary Gensler has to approve the ETF too. Why would you be confident that that's inevitable, but not confident that you can IPO because Gary Gensler has to approve the S1.
XRP in particular, the SEC has tried to throw you down in court.
Yeah.
Don't you think that Gensler and company might just say, "Now that one, no way"?
I think it's a hard argument with them to win. I mean, can they make life difficult? They've made life difficult for a lot of people, then they've lost in court.
Do you want to go public?
That's a good question. My pause is, look, today, sitting here, Gary Gensler is the chair of the United States SEC. I'm not really popular inside the offices of the SEC, as you might imagine.
Well, the NYSE president was in that chair yesterday, and she said that she welcomed applicants from the crypto ecosystem, IPO markets heating back up.
Lynn Martin, I think, is a progressive example of where we should be. That's not where Gary Gensler is. And so the SEC has to approve an S1. Going public in the United States for Ripple right now, I don't think makes any sense.
Okay. And then here, this is the one other clip that I wanted to show you. While this is playing, I'm going to go check the bacon. But here they're comparing Ripple to Roaring Kitty. Not they. She's comparing Ripple and XRP to the Roaring Kitty situation. Did you hear the beep for the bacon? I'm going to go check on it while you watch this.
Right now, the main competitor in that space is SWIFT. That, of course, is the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Transactions. That's the global one that a lot of people use. They charge much more, do they not?
Yeah, they really are the dominant. I mean, SWIFT has been around for, 50, 60 years. And the frustrating part for all of us as users of SWIFT is that it really hasn't changed in 50 or 60 years. The architecture of how it works, it means it's slow, it's expensive, and frankly, it's quite error prone. Some studies have shown that about 6% of all SWIFT attempts to wire a SWIFT transaction end up in errors that bounce back, and then it takes days to get it back.
What about you guys?
Well, an XRP transaction and a payment flow for us is really real time. It's instant, it's cross-border, and the really powerful thing for a lot of our customers is they don't have to pre-fund accounts, because our customers are financial institutions. And the way SWIFT works is you're pre-funding, you have dormant capital sitting in other banks around the world. Using XRP, using RippleNet, our payments network, you don't have to pre-fund.
When we look at this suddenly coming alive cryptocurrency, at least in the past week or so now we've got Bitcoin back above 70,000. Some people are making the connection between that and the Roaring Kitty re-entry into the world, reactivating his account on Reddit and saying he owns $115 million worth of GameStop shares. Do you see any connection between his sudden emergence and all of the cryptos moving higher, like a meme stock feel back in 2021 where people were also diving into crypto?
Yeah, I think this momentum is really driven from what's happening on a political basis. And the United States remains the largest economy in the world, and it has been kind of backwards as its approach to cryptocurrencies. Countries like the UK are way ahead, Japan, Singapore, Switzerland. I mean, we are really behind the rest of the world.
And Ripple has offices in many of those cities.
We do. We have 14 offices around the world. And so for me, I think what's really driving the momentum right now is seeing that, you even said this earlier, the voice of crypto, the voice of Ripple, and is really gone up in the conversation in the United States. I think you're seeing shifts.
Well, some of that is money. You yourself, over the past 2 years, have given a total of $50 million to Fair Shake, the lobby firm that cryptocurrency people are really kind of filling the coffers there. And suddenly you have Donald Trump saying, I'm the crypto president. You have Joe Biden making some noise about, come on, lay off the regulations a little bit. You guys suddenly have a voice. You're the kitten that roared in a way.
Yeah. So I think it's less about
Ripple,
the roaring kitten,
roaring Ripple,
or about, hey, you're seeing some of the political machinery in the United States move and act.
Right.
That's a thumbnail. Let me write that down. Roaring Ripple. That's good. I like that. Thank you, Liz Clayman. Now, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com now, but I think that bacon's getting right where it needs to be. So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about what happens to Tether, and somebody important is going to weigh in. We're going to talk about what happens to Tether, and I'm going to let you hear that in just a second. Okay, but I got to go check the bacon. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. If you want to hear somebody who would know talk about what will happen to Tether, this is the person that would know. Here we go.